If you clicked on this video, chances are you want to make a change in your life. And you are trying to overcome that emotion of change or step away from that version of yourself you no longer want to be. So in this video, I'm going to list 5 things you can do to change, to actually make that change or be a different version of yourself that you would prefer to be. So let's get right into the video. So the secret or the actual ingredient to make the change is to be aware of what it is that you are doing. Shit, I can't even see that. Okay, so the secret ingredient for number 1 to actually making the change is you have to be aware of what it is that you are currently being or identifying as. You have to be aware of the current habits that you have, or even the thoughts that you are having. Because if you are not aware of who you're identifying as, if you're not aware of who you are being, then change is nearly impossible. Because if you can't pick up the patterns that you are thinking, saying, or doing, or feeling on a daily basis, then you're gonna have a hard time changing. And that's just the harsh truth. You have to be aware of it first. And you have to be aware of the identity that you're being in that current moment and state of what you're thinking and feeling. And really, it's just your consciousness of who you are in that moment and who are you choosing to be. And from there, that's when you can actually start making that change in your life. You can change who you want to be by that choice and by that repetition of changing your behavior and your patterns. So number 2 in this list is, for a lot of people out there, is self-acceptance. Self-acceptance for where you're at. Because, let's be real, some people have a hard time, when they're making this change, have a hard time accepting for where they are, because they either beat themselves up, they think too much, they think of things in the future that is non-existent, they think of their present moment scenarios, whether it's where they think it's people's fault for where they are, or because of their environment, or they're stuck in a certain situation they feel like they can't even get out of, and they feel like that it's just too hard. The thing is, look, brother, you got to accept for where you are first before you can make that change. If you cannot accept yourself for who you are, if you cannot accept for the cards that you're dealt in that moment, then all you're gonna do is feel guilt and feel trapped in this linear space-time of this identity of feeling trapped. And you don't want to do that if you're making change. Because all you're going to do is you're going to feel like you're in this certain time, this timeline of yourself, of just, I can't change, I feel stuck. And you're going to keep identifying with that same version of yourself. And if you do that, you're not going to make the change. You have to accept yourself for who you are in that moment. And this goes back to being the awareness. Is you have to be aware of who you are, and then you have to accept for where you are being, or who you're being, or you're at. And then from there, you can actually start to implement change in your life. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to change. So if you're watching this video and you're beating yourself up right now, it's time to accept for where you are. Sometimes some environments are harsh. Sometimes people in your life do you wrong. Sometimes you feel like you have extreme self-worth issues, or you don't feel good enough to do things in your life, or you don't feel good enough for people in your life, or you feel like you're not worthy of having something in your life, whether it's a car, a job, a relationship. You have to get it out of that identity. You have to accept for who you are in this moment, and then you can change. You have to accept who you are and love yourself for who you are. It's easier said than done, but you can definitely get it accomplished. So number 3 in this list is the letting go process. After you have identified who you're being, who you're aware, and what your consciousness is in that moment, and then you self-accepted for who you are, you then can start to let go of identities. You can start to let go of belief systems of what you are holding on to. And this can even be from people as well. You start to let go of people who no longer fit that narrative, who you are being in that moment. You start dropping this identity, who you once were, and you are starting to change into this new identity where you're attracting potential new people in your life that are fitting that new narrative. You see, that's the thing about I find interesting about letting go is you're letting go of old wounds, you're letting go of old attachments, you're letting go of things that no longer serve that version of yourself that once was. And you start to attract in this nice beautiful universe the people into your life that fit that narrative, the people that mirror that new image you are being, that you're reflecting out the thoughts and feelings that you are now being. And of course, in letting go, I can't lie, when you are in that process of letting go, you are going to feel pain and you are going to feel struggle. That is the honest truth. In letting go, you're going to have wounds come up. You're going to have insecurities come up. You're going to have a lot of self-doubt. And that's even for me, like making these videos as I'm continuing on this journey, this process of becoming a new me, of trying to start businesses that I want to get into, meeting new people. It's getting into the uncomfortable, feeling so insecure, and I start to doubt myself in this process because I feel like, is this really for me? Am I good enough for this channel? And one common thing I think of is when I'm making these videos, something that comes to my mind is I'm like 24 years old. Who the hell am I to make videos like this and produce it and share it with you guys? And this is from letting go of those attachments and just knowing that I have to accept for who I am in this moment and not give in to that self-doubt, this ego trying to sabotage me, whether it's from myself or what other people said, whether it's they're saying you're not good enough, you can't do it because of this or that, which is not true, because the truth is no one knows who you are except you and maybe your family, but no one knows your story. So don't self-doubt. Do not give in to these doubts that beat you down, that try to tell you that you're not good enough. So you have to let go of those doubts. You have to let go of those people. You have to let go of those situations and even places you're at, like jobs that no longer serve you, and you have to move on. And I know also this wording looks backwards because of how the phone looks. But it's awareness, self-acceptance, and letting go. Now, number 4. This is the part that a lot of people get stuck on because it's either they do or they don't. But number 4 is take affirmative action for whether that passion that you feel driven to do, that dream that you want to chase, that version you want to be. You have to take action. It doesn't matter if it's this dream body you want, the money you want to make, this dream career that you want. That can be anything. This version you want to be. You have to take action. And why do I say this? It's because I've been in a place in my life where I was more in motion and not in action, where I was just planning out things, where I was saying, I was going to do this, I'm going to do that. But in reality, when I was saying things that I was doing in motion, it felt like I was doing a lot of things in progress. So like just making a bunch of goals, going, wow, I wrote down a bunch of goals. I made progress. And then I don't take any action on it. Or how a year ago, I said I was going to be consistent on YouTube, but then I felt fearful of making more videos and putting myself out there. So I just thought of ideas and never actually did anything. So I was more in motion, but never took actual action, or at least not that much. So you have to be willing to take action for what the things you want and to make change. It's like putting those things out in the universe, putting those things out into the world, God, or whatever you believe in. And after you meditate on it, after you dream about it, after you think about it, is then when you take action, you kind of visualize it, and then you do it. So for number 4, you want to take action, affirmative action for the things you want, you genuinely want in your life. You genuinely want. And then for number 5, after implementing all these steps, what you want to do, and this is the game changer, this is the kicker. Be consistent in change and evolving. So be consistent in change and evolving. It's a little messed up here. So after these steps of awareness, self-acceptance, letting go, taking action, is when you want to be consistent in that version of yourself that you want to be. And this can be as simple as if you were like really bad at money and you made a change to better micromanage your money, where you have different bank accounts for savings, emergency funds, or whatever. And when you be consistent in changing how your finances are, or you take accountability for your health. And let's say you're 285 pounds and you want to be in better health, so you drop 50 pounds. Then you want to implement a new habit, a new version of yourself that you're chasing, or not chasing, but trying to be, as you start to work out every day and put it in repetition. You're being consistent on that action that you've taken. Or a career that you're going towards, is you're being consistent in learning a new skill that you're developing. You're training your muscles and your mind, or even your body. And you're honing that skill or you're honing that practice and keeping and doing what you're doing. You have to just be consistent. And the same thing goes for me. When I'm uploading videos, I have to be consistent, putting myself out there. It's like if you first start and you make a couple videos and you put yourself out there, you're not picking up any views, and you go, oh shoot, man, this sucks, woe's me, I'm not picking up any views, maybe this is not for me. No, you have to keep putting yourself out there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Eventually you'll reap what you sow, if you just keep planting the seeds. So in these 5 steps, you have aware, self-acceptance, letting go, taking action, and being consistent, and evolve in that change. And if you can do those 5 steps, you will change. You will change to a new person that you desire to be. I think that's also part of it. I'm not going to include that, but the desire to change is also another thing. The driven motivation, or just sometimes discipline to actually make change, that we included within all these steps. So if this video did help you, please comment and share what you think I could have added, and also comment and share what you have been going through lately, and maybe what you've been feeling lately, and how this video may have affected you or changed you. And please like and subscribe. Until next time, thank you.